Good morning, everyone. Good evening. We got Jen today. But Jen will have to pop out possibly throughout the stream. To take a important phone call. So sorry to keep you all waiting. We're just waiting on one of Hillary to pop in.
She'll be here soon, though.
She will.
Yeah.
Yes. She got the times confused, which is understandable because I'm
How many time zones are we dealing with?
I'm constantly in PST, EST, and my time zone, but I'm not. I haven't acclimated to the central time.
Sounds like time travel, doesn't it? I'm in this zone and that zone.
all the time in the UK, and I have a couple of friends in the UK, and I would like to get them on as well. But it's very hard to coordinate times like with people in the UK, because when it's a decent hour for us, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning for them. So but we will make it work.
But wherever you are, we hope you're doing well.
Yes. We do.
I hope you're not too tired, or you've just woken up.
Yeah, like me, I only woke up 2 hours ago. So hi, Mr. Bunny. Hi, Dan. Hello, Mike. Good to see everybody. Oh, look, there's me. Hi, Ross. How you doing? So I have noticed. Let me just angle this a little bit.
I like how Mike calls us girls. That's lovely.
It is.
I've been a girl for a while.
Yes. Continue to call us girls.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Even when the wrinkles get deep, just keep.
We'll always be girls.
Let me just turn the lighting up so you can't see how deep the wrinkles are. Because I'm frowning too much. What was I going to say? I can't remember. We had our season 3 marathon going yesterday.
How good was that?
It was.
I loved going back. I love going back and watching. It's just I know. I really enjoy them.
We don't get time.
No, we don't really.
To watch, and everyone seems to be having a good time. And I said to Jen, like, I popped on for it might have been a couple of hours yesterday, and I'm like, the string, it's still going to keep going. It's still going to keep going, but I'm hopping off. And then, like, pretty much, like, everyone started hopping off. I'm like, no, keep watching. But you would think that there would be just too much Peter there, Peter here, too much. How is everyone? Wrinkles are a sign of beauty.
I like to call them character lines.
Yes.
And wrinkles.
Mm-hmm.
And
yes.
As you go.
The frowning. I've earned that one for sure, especially lately, because my body just wants to keep breaking on me. That's why I was streaming on my bed yesterday, because I had to have my knee up. Here, Peter, there, Peter. I need to get my shit together, don't I? And get the Central Times working and the UK time. What is UK time? What's that called?
I've got no idea. I only live in my time.
Does anyone in the chat know?
Trouble living in my time.
Russ, you'll know. What's UK time zone called? I've forgotten.
And are they all in
GMT?
maybe Greenwich Mean Time.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. But are they all on the same time, like they don't have like the east and west, you know what I mean? Then are they all on the one time zone, or are they different? Like we are all different. The states are different.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that's a really bloody good question, Jen.
Really sure.
Well, geez, then okay.
Maybe
so in London, it's 1:17 a.m.
Oh, so not so late.
Yeah. Your PSC, West Coast, Washington, Oregon, California. Yes, you, Dan, OG, wherever the hell he is, and Dan too, are all in Oregon. There's lots of you in Oregon, actually.
It must be something in the water.
So when I do get over there, I'll be going to the East Coast. So yeah, you guys will have to come to the East Coast.
Or maybe you just have to drive from one side to the other.
I'm not going to have time for that.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's when they open our borders again, because they're closed again at the moment, aren't they?
Because of the new strain.
I'll tell you what, COVID needs to bugger off. That's what needs to happen. Okay, so today we've got the lovely ladies from Blackbeak Paranormal joining us, Hillary and Mallory. So if you guys follow PNW Russ, you'll see that he's had them on his podcast before. And yeah, they've just started their own YouTube and uploaded their first investigation a couple of weeks ago, which is really, really exciting. So, it's awesome to have, more, female investigators joining, the
girl power.
Yeah, the YouTubes. And because there's a lot of us on IG, but when it comes to YouTube, it's quite male dominated. So we need more. We need more women.
We're slowly changing that.
And I've been trying to con Courtney from Ghoul Guy into starting YouTube, and she's just like, no. I'll stick with IG for now. So I'll bring them on. So here we go. This is Mallory and Hillary.
Hi, ladies.
Hello.
Hi.
Oh, you've got your beautiful kitty.
Oh, yeah. This is Drago. He likes to crash a cam.
Oh, is he a ragdoll? Is he a ragdoll?
He looks like one, but he's actually a Siberian.
Ooh. Nibbles, where are you? I have a big, ginormous Berman who loves to crash my live streams usually.
They love it.
He's fast asleep. Wake up, damn it. Wake up. Hillary, we haven't introduced ourselves yet. I'm Peta, and this is Jen, my partner.
Hi, Peta and Jen. It's nice to meet you. Thanks for waiting for me, too. I'm so sorry. My bedtime ran longer than it was supposed to.
And that was a miscommunication. So.
Yeah.
Oh, good. You're here now.
That's right. So, yeah, you guys have, like we were talking to Mallory, so about how you met and things like that. But for everyone in the chat, do you want to like tell us how you guys, met and how you got started?
Yeah. So we met through our husbands, who were best friends in like elementary school or high school. So we met through them, and we've been friends for like over 10 years. But like during COVID, like when that was starting to ease out and like events were opening up, that's when probably we started really like hanging out and like going to like literary events. And then we ended up going to our first ghost hunt. that was the start of everything. I mean, where we are now.
So you both figured out along the way that you were both heavily into the paranormal type thing?
I think it was like little hints here and there, like we would find ourselves into the same kind of books, or just decorating the same way, or just like interested in the same places. And then I think it's kind of like, it's like one of those things where, oh God, my cat just turned on the sink. So he does this a lot, and he's not bright, but then he'll like do something like this. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry.
It's a ghost.
I'm just going to turn
He's
my fan
just-
on because
He's turning on whatever sink he wants to now. All right, I'll just put it on like a dribble for him.
He's not having a shower or something. Imagine him
I'm so
scrubbing
sorry.
in the shower.
And then you can hear us like talking about it. He'll like turn on the sink, and then we'll go to take a shower in the morning, and there will be no hot water left because he'll have like ran a sink all night long. And like, how do you stop a cat from turning on all the sinks? Like, it's just
But that sounds
ridiculous.
like a thing to do, doesn't it?
Mm.
It sounds like a cat thing to do.
It sounds like you need a kitty proof your your sinks. You have your child proof locks. You need kitty proof locks.
No, but I mean, that is probably, I don't want to lock him in a room, but we like close all the bathrooms so he can't get in, but the kitchen's still open then. So it's just ridiculous.
How
It's
old
so
is he?
loud now too. Like, I'm having a hard time hearing in general, and now I can like hear the sink, and if I don't like keep it on, he's just gonna like turn it on again. I don't know what to do.
Gotta love cats with attitude. Like,
I know, I love them. I
I
have 3 in total. I have 2 Siberians and then 1 like stray. I'm sorry, give me one. I just gotta kick him out of the room. I'm so sorry. I'm having like a disaster, like a dumpster fire like night right now, and I'm so sorry. Oh my God. I'm sorry. And don't meow at the door then.
Oh, it's so funny.
Okay, peace.
Yeah, I have 5 cats.
Oh wow.
Yeah, but I'm staying at my mum and dad's at the moment, and they have 5, but we just got another one, so now there's a total of 11 cats.
Congratulations.
It's freaking awesome. And you know, my profession has been veterinary, so my entire life.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just accumulate, like it's just a thing. I can't help it.
No, neither can I. I just, unfortunately, I have the cats, and then I had 2 dogs. I just lost my 1 dog recently, which is why I'm in just like a funk. So we just agreed to get another dog in, end of January, because I also love making things difficult for myself. So I'm like, why not add gasoline to the fire, and then I can, have a puppy to take care of with a toddler. Like, it sounds like a brilliant idea. Can't we?
So what kind of puppy are you getting?
We're gonna get a Great Pyrenees. I don't know if you've ever heard of them.
Really?
They're like a big white fluffy dog.
Oh.
Yeah, they're pretty.
Yeah, right. They're cute.
I'm sure he'll like eat a couch at some point and he'll regret it. My other big dog did that, so.
Oh,
But yeah.
Boy.
Hi Adam, and I saw Courtney. Courtney from Good Guide is in the chat.
Hi, Courtney.
We've got the team. Hello. Sorry, we kind of got off topic, everyone. Like,
It's my fault.
Cats take priority. And when you've got 4 women, it's bound to happen. What can
It's true.
We'll just blame Hillary.
Yeah, I mean, if the stream ends, blame Hillary's cat.
It could really happen. So I locked them out, but now they're crying outside the door. I'm like, oh my God, I just should have like locked several doors on my way into here. But It's okay. It is what it is. But yeah, that's how we met. It was like little like Easter eggs kind of for the other to find, of like, you know, you post like a book you're reading and then the other one's like, you like that too? But it's like, you can't always be so open about the freak that you are, because it's still like, you're like, I'm weird. Like, you can't really broadcast it all the time, but there's like little things you can tell people where if they're like you, they're like, oh, like, you don't have to say it out loud, but I know exactly the kind of person that you are. And you're like, thank you. And I feel like that's how we found each other, that it was we were more comfortable kind of expressing ideas to each other. And then once we started down the paranormal road, you should see some of our conversations. They're just like weird. It's like, so I was thinking of this strange theory, and, you know, what if this means, and, you know, if anyone else saw it, they'd be like, you're crazy. Like, that's what's going on. You need to like check yourself in somewhere.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I commented on a post. I can't remember what it said, but it was something about, you know, like how, you know, we're all weirdos, right? And my comment in reply to this post was, yeah, but I don't think we're the weirdos. Like, we're actually the normal people. And it's the people who don't believe in the paranormal or unexplained that have the issue.
We're the normies.
Yes. So flip the coin, and you know, people who aren't a believer, they're the weird ones. Because
something not quite right about that, is there?
No.
Mm.
And I think you're right.
And I even, you know, saw, you know, when I was posting this on the Facebook group this morning, that, you know, someone had put in this paranormal group, and, you know, it's quite a large following paranormal group. And, you know, I thought, I'll just see what they've, you know, said. And they're talking about how they're not a believer and they're this and they're that. I've been to like this haunted location, that haunted location. They're in the States. So they've been to like, you know, a high state reformatory and, you know, like the big places, right? I've locked myself in cells, nothing's happened, haven't felt anything. Oh, he's woken up. The child has awoken. I don't know if you can see him. That's my
He's
beast.
Beautiful.
And he knows it.
Yeah, they always do. That's how mine is. He's very vain.
Oh, yes. He's very full of himself. But I found it odd. So, like, he was like, so if I'm going to all these haunted locations, nothing is happening, how am I supposed to believe that there is anything to this paranormal stuff? And, you know, he wasn't being rude or anything like that. It was a legitimate, like, question. And, you know, people had left their comments and, you know, majority was like, you know, well, you know, you experience something, it just happens when you least expect it, blah, blah, blah. But, you know, it makes me think that why, if you don't believe at all and you've never had an experience, you still don't believe, it's made you believe even less, why are you part of paranormal groups? Do you know what I mean? Like, I see it all the time.
I don't know. Maybe it's that, like, I want to believe, so I want something to happen. Because I think, you know, with Mallory and I tend to be more skeptical than I am a believer. But I've been fortunate enough to have things happen to me that have, you know, made me very firm in believing, where I'm like, wow, there's no way I can explain away what happened. But I could see a version of myself where nothing ever happened, but I still kept like trying to see if I would experience something. It's just like natural human curiosity of being like, well, I'm in this group and these people are like really into it. What am I missing? Like, maybe it's going to happen, or maybe they just like being the skeptic or the critic. And it's like, you know, it's their own confirmation of not believing. Like, who knows what, I feel like a lot of us in life in general are trying to find answers to questions that we already think we have the answers for. So we're just looking for confirmation of what we already believe in. And that might be their way of just being like, yeah, see, I was right. And this proves it. Like, there's nothing there. I've been to all these ridiculously haunted locations and nothing's happened. And that just makes me, you know, believe even more that I'm right. And you're like, well, I think you missed the point, but that's
and we've met, you know, skeptics, you know, that come to Paragon, like Kenny Biddle, you know, and I met him at Solo Mansion, and I was like, why do you come here? And he's like, because I gotta be the voice of reason. And like, I get it, like, because I mean, and like PETA talking to you about like our YouTube video, where like, it wasn't really even really a spooky place, but it was kind of nice to just be honest and say like, hey, the REM pod went off, but we know why, and it wasn't spooky, and it went off again, and we know why, and it wasn't spooky. And I think skeptics who call themselves skeptics and go to these things, go to Paracons, I mean, honestly, it's kind of nice that there's like a voice of reason for like the yahoos that think, I'm sorry, but that think that every dust particle is an orb, you know, like, and then if they're doing it, then you don't have to like be the one to do it.
I think keeps people in check, doesn't it? Because we know there's people out there that will say everything's paranormal that happens. And if we don't have people like that question it all the time and say, hey, have you thought maybe it's this? Or, you know, so it's kind of a check for everybody, I guess. Yeah.
And see, you know, our other team member, Adam, he's in the chat under Perth Reptile. He came on board as a skeptical believer. And so, you know, believing that there's something else out there, but never had experienced anything. And, you know, the first night I took him out, we had all sorts of things going on because I went to a new location, and he was just like, okay, I can't explain that at all. That was cool. And, you know, like, he's renowned for his dad jokes. And, you know, from the first time, you know, I went out and investigated with him, and since, like, it's become a thing that he'll tell dad jokes during our EVP sessions. And majority of the time, we get a freaking giggle on the digital recorder.
He's got to get a laugh somewhere, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. But, you know, like, even still, he still questions everything. And so does Jen, and so do I. And, you know, I think that's the difference between, you know, a good investigator and a bad investigator. Like, if you just call everything, oh, what was that? Oh, it must be paranormal. No, it was just a bird like 2 kilometers away. And, you know, like, we capture a lot of anomalies on camera. And, you know, but, like, I've got to study these things frame by frame by frame, because, you know, like, half the time it's just dust, or it's an insect, or, you know, a spider web or something like that, you know. But yeah, it's refreshing to have other investigators who are very like-minded, and being female is even better, because we need more of you guys.
Yeah, there really isn't a lot.
Yeah.
So when we, for a while, and unfortunately it's kind of not had the same pace that it had, but we were investigating often with 2 of our friends who were female, Kelly and Katie. And there's just something really powerful about a girl group. I mean, it sounds kind of corny, but I just think women have such good, like, intuition and energy. And our energy, I think, oftentimes is so genuine and unthreatening that I do feel like it kind of feeds to have a little more response, or at least that's been our kind of take on it.
Yeah,
and, I mean, our style too is we're not very reactive or triggering as well. We're not trying to like threaten someone to like come out or rile them up, just because we're peaceful moms. We're like, I don't need that today.
Running around screaming, dude, did you see that? And
oh my God,
dude.
And you're like, take it down. Let's
you know, I was talking about that during my marathon yesterday, and you know, there was a couple of, you know, clips where like I have a bigger reaction, but it's still not major. But I'm like, okay, see, that is probably the biggest reaction you're gonna get out of me. And I keep telling Jen and Adam, like, I feel like I'm desensitized now. Like,
well, and even
because I'm my own, but it's just so normal to
even the biggest experiences that Hillary and I have had, which were separate incidences. Like looking back, and our reaction was just kind of like, it was. I didn't like freak out and like. Well, I did run that first time, but I walked calmly out.
Yeah, like
we've never screamed unless there was a bat that flew at our heads.
That was a fair scream though. It was a bat in the dark towards your head, and those are more scary than a lot of the like haunted phenomenon. Is like a wild animal in a abandoned building where you're like, oh my God, like
or a big ass spider, which is what makes me cringe and go,
oh my God, in Australia.
I would scream. That would get the scream that we're talking about that we don't do is like a spider or a snake. Like then I am, and it would be one of those, like instead of a ghost, that would be I'm not going back in there. Like we're done. That's not gonna happen.
We need to end this investigation now.
Yeah.
But then that would be a good little voice clip to put on the little teaser trailer. Point everyone.
Adam is a professional snake catcher. And as you guys probably know, you know, we have a lot of snakes in Australia, and Australia is this like, you know, the most dangerous place to live in the world. It's not.
Oh, we're always out there fighting for our lives. Venomous snakes, huge spiders that eat birds. What else?
Like those memes, and meanwhile in Australia, and there's like spider coming out of the car.
Yeah, it's a survival day every day here. Not naked and afraid, but just survivor.
Well, so I studied abroad in Australia when I was in high school.
Oh, really?
Wow.
And every morning I would turn my shoe over because my parents like told me that there would be like spiders and snakes in my shoes every day. And the family I was staying with were like, what the hell are you doing? And I'm like, the spiders.
Or scorpions, or
Actually, I will say, I was like, lately, I don't know what it is, I hate spiders, and I seem to keep getting spiders on me. And I was sitting on my bed, like just watching a movie, and I felt something on my arm, and it's a freaking spider. And I'm like, the room's dark. And I'm just like, for crying out loud, I went out, you know, and I'm just like, why? Like, have you trained your spiders, Mum, to like attack people? Because they won't leave me alone. And my coffee cup, like,
what?
I went to like take a sip, and I'm so freaking glad I looked down. This has never happened to me in all my years. And there's like a baby spider like on the rim, and I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? Just no, spray everywhere.
Gosh, no, thank you.
We bought a real live Christmas tree this year for the one room. We normally always do fake, and I was decorating it, there are spiders all over it, the little black jumpy kind. And I saw the one and I was like, peace be with you. Like, I'm going to work around you. And then I went to the other side and there was another. And I'm like, no, like, what am I, is this a spider infested tree? So I just like, I'm avoiding it. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I can't take it back. I can't put it outside. I don't want to decorate it because I'm worried. So I'm like, maybe in a few days, they'll just like evacuate the tree. They'll just go off and, you know, hide in a corner or something. But like one spider's a lot, but then like two. And now I'm thinking like, we have a problem. This, ugh.
Great.
Like,
I
never
know I'm
again.
coming to your house in a few days.
I know, the cats will eat them. That's what I'm hoping.
Yes.
Maybe if you leave it long enough, they'll decorate the tree for you.
Oh, wouldn't that be adorable with like little silk webs or fucking
glitter at it, and it will stick, and it will look fantastic.
That is a fabulous idea.
You know,
I'll let you know.
Awesome.
That is probably one of the like biggest myths that I see, like my friends in the States posting about the spider pictures where the trees and the ground are just like webbed out completely. Like all you see is spider web everywhere. Have you seen those?
Yeah,
I've seen that.
This is why I'm never going to Australia. And so I thought, no, this does not happen here. I'm sorry. I actually Googled one of those photos, and guess where it said it was from? It was taken in Oregon.
No.
Yes. And I'm just
of course
like,
it's here.
well, there you go, everyone, like Dan and Mike and other Dan who live in Oregon, you can probably confirm this for me in the chat. But yeah, it was taken in Oregon, and I'm just like, it's not even from Australia.
No, you guys are getting set up. Lies are being spread.
Yes.
It's actually here that's the scariest. I saw like a video, and it was a spider in like Texas, and it was like that big walking across the lawn. It was disgusting. Wow. And I was like, someone should shoot it. Like, no, it just shouldn't. Like, I try to be nice about it, and I will do the like, I'm not going to kill the spider, but like at the point that it's going to be like a danger to my life, it might come back later and kill me in my sleep. Like now, there's no truce telling you out.
Not yet. That damn straight. It's.
But yeah,
stuff.
That's the scariest thing on an investigation is like not the ghosts, it's the spiders, the bats, whatever animal is like hiding out in there that then like, because that our Mallory's girlfriend Lauren, that like almost hit her in the head.
She's very tall.
She is very tall.
And you guys have to be careful too, because they carry like rabies.
They do. Yeah.
So do you have to get rabies vaccines like yearly or?
No, I mean, you'd only get a rabies vaccine if you got bit by something. But yeah, if we did get bit by a bat, we'd have to go. And the rabies vaccine series are like intense. I think it's like a shot in the stomach or something. It's like several. I'm not quite sure, but that's what I've heard about it. But I know like you can get vaccinated for rabies because there's like a wildlife refugee by me, and I considered volunteering, but you have to get vaccinated for rabies to volunteer. And I was like, I love animals, but I don't know if I love animals much to get a rabies vaccine. So I'll think about it. Like I'll table that for a time in my life that I'm feeling a little like, but yeah, not for now.
So when did you girls decide let's team up and let's, create Blackbeak? Like how did you like come up with the name and how did all that get going?
Well, so I think after our first official hunt, we heard a disembodied voice on our very first time out by ourselves, just the two of us. In Fort Mifflin, in like a scary casemate, like used to be a prison cell. Like that's totally creepy. That's what we touched on that a little bit in the Feminine Macabre. And after that, we were like hooked. We were like, oh my God, we have to go on another one of these. And I think after the second one, we were offered a spot on our friends team who we had met on our very first hunt. And we kind of looked at each other and we're like, that's nice and stuff, but like, we're moms. We have like crazy schedules.
Yeah.
And we wanted to be all women too. So I think like right after that, we were like, you know what? 2 people is a team. So we're going to be a team. And then the name Blackbeak is super nerdy. Talk about flying your freak flag. So we combined our 2 nerdy qualities that we share. And it's actually the name of a bloodthirsty witch's coven in a favorite book series by Sarah J. Maas.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really cool.
One of my tattoos. Not
Yeah.
Blackbeak, but the same author. So that's how big of nerds we are.
Yeah, and that we thought that like identified us the most accurately, where it was like, what is a great way to describe ourselves? And it's like, oh, like the evil witch coven. I think that would be a great name for it. Here we
And
are.
do you partake in witchcraft, or you're just readers of it?
No, I mean, I read tarot. My mom read tarot when I was younger and did, you know, some more esoteric kind of like hobbies. So I have crystals, I'll read tarot, but I'm not really like doing any kind of spells or anything like that. I'm just more of like what your intents are, I think definitely comes back to you. So like try to practice good, try to put good out there, try to like shield yourself and you know, and clearly flawed in it in so many ways because it's so hard to like keep your cool as a mom. But I don't think either of us are really like actual witches, but we could be, especially in this crowd. I mean, we're just I think we're like frauds with it using that name. I don't think we knew what we were getting into, where then we would have like actual witches that we were friends with, and then it's like, nice try, honey.
Well, we respect them. I mean, it's like I don't really believe in organized religion, and I'm very spiritual, and I just kind of like respect whatever you believe in as long as you're like a good person and you follow the tenets of like not being an asshole. So like, I feel like our name isn't like controversial. It's still, I mean, that was like, if you read the books, it's like girl power, and there's like, they're good friends and a lot of trust, and like, it's like, you have to go out and have the trust in your teammate. Like we're so hard to evidence. If we don't capture it ourselves, or we weren't there ourselves, we're like, I don't know about this.
Like I don't see it as you being, you know, frauds at all. Like by using that name, it's more that, you know, you've used, you know, a commonality between you two, and you know, that's what inspired you to, you know, to do what you're doing. So yeah, I think it's awesome.
Yeah, I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a root. I think we tried to find like another like common root between the two of us to so yeah,
that's awesome. And being you know, mums, how do you juggle it? And you know, you have asked your question
about how do you think being mothers may influence your investigations, or maybe the places you choose to investigate?
Definitely the places we choose, because they're more near than we always want them to be. It's hard to get away, because no matter what we're doing, it means someone else has to like pick up what would be our responsibility. So you always have that guilt, and it makes it difficult. You know, you want to do these things and be happy doing them, but it does make me think sometimes when we're like away, that we always have a part of our mind kind of not there, because you're thinking about back home. But
and
we do think, oh, sorry.
No, continue.
No, you go.
Oh, I was just saying, we don't, there are certain things that in conversation will be like, I don't want to try that, like just in case I don't want to bring that home, you know, with that, like there's certain there's tactics we won't try. We won't purposely go to like a demon or like a negative. I don't even know how we feel on the whole thing, but like we might not seek those out as much because, you know, we've got little kids, or like I've used my daughter's discarded toys as trigger objects before, and then I won't let her play with them again. You know, so like, so even though I'm not 100% on how I feel about that, there's just something that doesn't sit right. So that's been something that I've noticed the more we do it. You know, I used to let my son listen to EVP stuff, and now I'm kind of like, in early November, my husband heard voices in our upstairs hallway, and my husband is like the biggest on the planet. He like thinks this is all malarkey or whatever. And then shortly after that same night, we heard a huge thump in my closet, and I was like, you know, I'm going to get a little more distance between, you know, home and these things. I think up until that point, I was a little like, oh, you know, it's fine, because nothing had ever happened. And then there's just that vibe, and right after Halloween, early November, and I think that was the first time where I was kind of like, oh, I think like, you know what I mean? Like I haven't really bothered me up until that point.
Yeah. And what do you what do you do to protect yourselves, like before like investigating, and you know when you finish an investigation?
I normally try to wear a lot of protective crystals and bracelets. I believe in that energy. I think there's something there to it. And then afterwards I'll go around my whole house. My husband says it smells like a church, and I'll just kind of clear it out. But I haven't really run into anything. I had, you know, one incident maybe last year. It's always around this time. We always talk about like with the holidays or with the thinning veil, it seems like things get through, but I don't feel like I have anything that came home with me. And then I feel like I have so many like passed away loved ones that if anything did happen in my house, I would just attribute it to that. And I'd be like, oh, that's mom, that's dad. Like there's no way I'd be able to differentiate between something following me home and, you know, something there. And I think the whole notion that things like follow, I don't know, because if it doesn't happen to you, it's so hard to have like an opinion on it. And, you know, knock on wood, like so far I'm good. So, but that's really what I do. And then, you know, we talk about though going into an investigation and you're wearing all these crystals, almost like, you know, talisman or amulets of like protective charm. And then you wonder if you're stopping things from being able to like communicate with you too. So I think there's like a balance between like protecting and cutting off and like allowing through. And I have a hard time striking it. I think sometimes I go in too protected.
And I think it's got a lot to do with, like you were talking about earlier, about intent. So how you go into it and what you sort of want to achieve from the investigation. But I think it's all about your intent and how you go in and what attitude you go in with. And how you investigate.
See, sorry, Mallory. Sorry, I cut you off there.
Oh no, I was just saying. We had talked about that a little bit, and I talked leading up to it to a few of my other friends about when we had our investigation 2 weeks ago. We went and just not very much happened, and we kind of talked at the end of the night. We're like, you know, we usually get something, and this was the first investigation where we had cameras rolling the entire time. You know, and we wonder if that is something that, you know, affected our experience, just in terms of like what you were saying with like your intention. Like our biggest experiences have been when we're vulnerable, and we say that all the time. Like that would be like one of our taglines if we had one. But it's when you don't expect it. And I think I don't know if I like the next one. It was fun to make a YouTube video, and I would do it again, but like I don't like filming the whole thing because I don't know how they feel about that, or if that's a restrictive. You know, it's weird. It's just something that we haven't really come across before or had to consider.
Well, you know, we, you know, with the whole protection thing, Sean, my soul sister that I started Ethereal Sisters with, we kind of were thinking the same thing, because we'd gone to a couple of locations and we weren't getting as much activity. And, you know, we would do, you know, like a prayer before, you know, starting, and, you know, when we finished. And, you know, I said, what if we're actually stopping the spirits from communicating with us? So, you know, we decided, okay, we'll go into this investigation and we won't say a prayer or do anything, and we'll see if it makes a difference. I really got an attachment from a mentally insane dude. So it definitely does make a difference. But then it's happened, you know, with us investigating, and, you know, Jen and I, you know, like you were saying with filming the YouTube video, when we're filming, especially when we're doing a live investigation, you know, like, we don't want to like stop the live, but, you know, we'll need to like go grab a drink and have a 5-minute break. So we'll just put the camera down wherever everyone in the chat wants us to. And every single time stuff starts happening.
Yeah.
And, you know, we'll open the chat up and people will be like, is that them moving around? And we're just like, we're not moving. Like, we're completely out of the house. Like, and this, you know, was sounding like someone was dragging a freaking body towards the camera. It was so loud. And we're like, we are not making a sound. We can't hear anything. We're standing on concrete. Like, sorry, that's my cat, like, knocking on my bed.
They're just little menaces.
Well, I think too, and like, that's right. I was going to say that about when you were saying earlier, the man who was posting in the paranormal group, how he doesn't believe anymore. I think too, when you're running a camera or you're going in and you're not a believer, are you going to get as much, because your mind is already it has the blocks, you know, and then when you're holding a camera, you're trying to get an angle and like trying to look nice, you know, like, I think you're not fully in it. And Courtney, is Courtney still in here? Courtney, she and I were talking about that, and I was like, why don't you do a YouTube video? Like, everyone loves you. Like, she's so lovable. And she said, I'm just so in the moment. And, like, I don't even think about filming. And I love that about her. Like, she's right. Like, she's just so in it that, like, it's just, so it's just, I think it's just something, you know, you find the balance on. And because I love to watch videos. It's not like I don't want anyone to make them. It's like, I love watching them, and I even like watching ours, and like seeing yourself do this stuff is pretty cool. Like, my kids are older, like, they'll get to see it, and that mommy was brave and tried some weird stuff.
But I always say to Jen, because she'll, you know, mention like, oh yeah, I saw like something. I think I was doing a spirit bolt. I had the SB7 going, and Jen just comes out with, who did I just see go past Peter? And I'm just like, hang on, wait, what? And I turn the spirit box up and I'm like, who went past me? But yeah, like Jen said, she just gets lost in the moment. And, you know,
sometimes I don't, because I'm filming and so concentrating on sort of, you know, what's going on, I have to watch our episodes back to go, oh yeah, there was that, or I just, I'm so in the moment and so focused that you sort of, I don't know, you sort of close off a bit. And
and like I'll say to her, like, if you feel something, like, just blurt it out. Like, it's okay, you can freaking, you know, talk, we can put it on a tripod and everything. But you just kind of get in the zone, I suppose.
Yeah, that's a
and
good word for it. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I forget that we're even recording.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
That can be a problem.
Yeah.
luckily, I can edit those parts out.
Mhm.
Well, yeah, we just booked. We're not going public with it yet, but we booked a big one for early 2022 with some other familiar faces, and they were telling us about the live cameras that are in this building. And one of the women who's been there before, she's like, "Oh, I'm turning that camera at night, sleeping all night, like so watch that'll be like when all this crazy stuff happens."
I forget, and I'll change Mallory knows like
Oh my
right in front of the
I'm
camera
like,
all the time.
There was one time we were in a hotel room, and I swear I heard a voice, but guess who was naked on camera at the same
This one. Constantly. You can roll it. I don't just put little bars on my lady bits.
The blurring.
What did they call that? OnlyFans or something?
Oh, yeah. You could do like Blackbeak OnlyFans Paranormal.
Yeah.
when we're really hard up. And it really
Yeah. See,
really
you're lucky I'm doing that for free. I just unconsciously so. I direct my naked body like to the camera, not thinking about it. Like it's not like on the side. I'm just like in front of it, and then I'll look and I'll be like,
talking.
no.
We're like two moms,
Again?
and we're like getting changed for dinner and talking, and then I'm like, oh yeah, we are recording this entire thing.
Whoops.
Yeah. Like we've had I've had static cams going, through the night at some locations, and like if there are any other guests there, they know that there's cameras recording in the hallway. But this was at Green Hills, and the guys didn't care. They just, came out of their rooms just wearing their jocks, and I'm just like, it's an IR camera, dude.
Oh yeah, well,
no shadow figure in that one.
There's YouTube like filming with a different camera, and I was like, oh, okay, these outfits are see-through. This isn't gonna.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, or I can't bend over in that.
Yeah. Oh, I tell you what, yeah, like we learned that real early on, and then I'm just like, shit, I can't wear leggings. Damn it! Yeah. Like, don't wear leggings with an IR camera.
Yeah, I think the dress I wore, you told me it was see-through when we were going through, and I was like, how would I know it doesn't look see-through in person at all?
Yeah.
Wouldn't know that.
Sean and I ended up like testing out things, and I think Jane and I did it a couple of times as well. Jane from Shadow Visions Paranormal, she's in Queensland, where we'd like film each other with what we had on with the IR, and to see if you could see through any parts of the clothing. But it's so hard. And what I don't get is, like, you wear black jeans, right? They show up white.
Yeah.
But you wear black top and it's black. Like,
what the hell?
Weird. I don't understand. I just don't.
Those little lessons you learn.
Ill problems.
Yeah. So you girls have been in both Volume 1 and Volume 2 of The Feminine Carb. How did that happen? Like, did you write together, or?
Well, so I had ordered back in the day. I had ordered Amanda's book for the cryptid ABCs for kids, and my son loved it, and so I ended up following Amanda on Instagram, and then just like bugging her in messages. I was like, "Be my friend."
Yeah, well, she's so lovely.
Awesome. And then when she opened submissions for the Feminine Macabre, that was like my dream. I've always wanted to like have published writing always. And I got like so excited. She was like, "You were the first person to submit something ever." I submitted something like 2 days later. And then I told Hillary, because I was just so excited. And I had like some ideas and I told Hillary, I'm like, because I was kind of embarrassed. Like when you write, that's so vulnerable. And so like, hi, I'm making, look at this. And so I told Hillary, I was like, hey, like I submitted something. And she's like, well, why don't we write something together? And I was like, oh, that's a great idea. So for the first volume, we wrote together, which is like really hard to do, surprisingly. And then, but it worked, and like I'm really proud of us for like figuring that out and getting it selected. And like I really like that piece, and it's still something that we talk about. And then for the second volume, we wrote individually, and that was fun too. And the one, my piece in the second volume is that one that I had submitted like 2 days later, 2 days into submission.
Oh, Nibbles, seriously.
Oh.
Nibbles.
Mine have been crying outside the door this entire time. Just like so upset that I locked them out of the room.
Vomit on the book. Vomit on the book. You know what, Nibbles?
Oh, talk about getting the attention. I'll just throw up.
I literally freaking dived onto my bed. Don't you dare vomit on my bed, dude.
Oh dear.
Unbelievable. That is just unacceptable, Nibbles.
It's always on the bed.
Oh, good Lord, that broke my knee.
Oh, God.
Listen here, mister. No freaking throwing up. Come here. Good Lord.
He got the attention he wanted.
Yeah. He's overdue for a brush.
He's so pretty.
Oh, he's got vomits around his mouth.
Oh.
He didn't actually like throw anything up. I think he's just got a cat ball.
Yeah.
Hello, Gorb Snob. I was about to say hello to you, but I had to dive bomb my cat. Because my bed is such a pain in the ass to make. Oh my gosh, it's so annoying. Are you okay now? See, yours turns the tap on. Mine gets attention by fake vomiting.
Yeah. Mine's turning the water on randomly. Yours is barfing or pretending to. It's cats.
Oh my God,
I am a dog person.
Yeah, I mean, look at how pretty he is. Like,
he's so pretty. He knew that he looks good on camera, and he's like, I'll find a way to get on camera.
Yeah, he wanted Mum to look like an idiot dive bombing the bed. Okay, please don't vomit. Have you finished? Good Lord, I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. Mine, this morning, my husband was like, one of the cats took a crap in my closet, and I knew which one it was. It was the one that was in here that turned the sink on. But I was like, I wonder who could have done that. And he's like, let's not deflect the blame. You know exactly which cat did this. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like, he's a jerk. That's what he does.
You know, cats with attitude are my favorite. Like, I love
he
it.
knew what he was doing. He doesn't like my husband, and he likes him to know. So he leaves him those presents every now and then to be like, this is for you.
You know what? That's funny because my cats used to do the worst stuff to my ex, and they would not do it to me. Like, they would not wake me up. They wouldn't bug me, but yeah, like, they gave him all the shit, and just like, I know why, but yeah, the cats knew before I did that it was time for me to move along.
I won't tell my husband that, because he'll be like, hey.
Oh,
That's
so
nice.
sorry. Okay, so you were talking about how you wrote your piece for the volume 1.
Yeah.
Is that where we're up to?
Yeah, we were. Yep.
Yeah.
But yeah, for the feminine macabre, I felt like for the first article, it was nice to write it together because so many of those ideas we came up together, like within dialogue. You know, when you're like talking and you're making these ideas together, you're going back and forth in this volley and kind of crafting it. So it was really neat to be able to do that together and put our names on it because it felt like it was a 50-50 kind of like construction of theory and ideas. So it was like, you know, we're a team, and as a team, this is what we've come up with. And I think that's what's so great about like having a team is you have that opportunity, because there's so many people that go out solo, and I'm sure they have a little bit of that, but everything like Mallory and I do is going through the others. So you have this like, not just a filter, but just this opportunity to kind of, you know, deconstruct and extrapolate on your experience together. And that's such like a beautiful thing to have with somebody that you don't always get.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
And that is something that, you know, I'm still trying to get used to, because I was on my own for, you know, 6-7 months doing this and running everything and filming everything and editing and just all of it. And, you know, I was so fortunate to come across Jen and, you know, meet her, and, you know, like we just like meshed straight away, you know, like when you just click with someone and you just know that you're
on the same page, I guess.
Yeah. And the same ideas, the same kind of theories like you're talking about. But, you know, like the amount of times I have to apologize to Jen because I'll go ahead and do something, and then Jen will be like, "Oh, I thought you would have talked to me about it," and I'm just like, I didn't even think. Like,
same.
That happens.
I'm so used to just, you know, like having to do it all on my own. It's just, and then, you know, like I'm glad that, you know, Jen reminds me and is like, "Hey, we're supposed to be doing this like together." I'm like, shit, yes, I know, I'm sorry, I didn't think. And it's just, it's so nice to not have like everything on my shoulders for once. And, you know, Jen, you know, has been through the ringer, you know, personally this year as well, and, you know, takes care of, you know, Facebook stuff and, you know, liaising with clients. It's just, it's great having, and even Adam, you know, it's great having both of them. And, you know, like me in a panic, like, oh shit, I haven't done this yet. And Jen's like, I've already done it. I've sent it to you. I'm just like, oh my God, like, it's good. So yeah, but it's hard. Like when you're used to doing it on your own, and then, you know, you're back in a partnership and everything. Yeah. So you do the same thing, do you, Hillary?
Yeah, I'll just be like, I'm feeling a little left out here. It's the same dialogue, I think, and just like things that, you know, you might not think the other one like cares about or has an opinion on, and then they're like, I do, and no, and you know, it's something that, like I said, you kind of learn a lot about communication and just trying to like go back and you know, I tend to sometimes get like overly sensitive about something, and then I'll have to like review it and be like, why am I being that way? But that's like the hard thing too in a partnership, and so much of what you're doing is like via text or online, whereas I think, you know, if you don't have that face to face and you're trying to, you know, or even just edit things through like a message, that can get really tricky and dicey because you don't always know if the other person is like withholding something or not. Like, so I think that can be hard in like a team, is where you're like, were they really okay with that, or were they not, or did they want to do it this way, or are they like and if you're by yourself or you're used to being by yourself, you never had that element to kind of deal with before, because everybody has an opinion and everybody has like moods or a good day or a bad day, so it's fickle sometimes.
And I think writing together is hard, like, because you can have two solid writers who just write so differently, and then trying to like match those two together. I think in the end it was because we had the same ideas, but just they were coming from our brains out our fingertips to the computer so differently. And I'm trying to like put this together and send it to her, and she's like tweaking it and like, so writing together I think is difficult, and I can't like I said, I'm very proud that we figured that out. It was decent and coherent, and I think our general message got across. But on like a day-to-day, it's a learning curve, and it's like you're so used to, especially as a mom and a wife, you're used to like the way you talk to like your husband and your kids. And let's face it, you're usually the boss in either of those situations. So you get two boss moms, talking to each other, and we're very honest. We don't really pull punches. We don't have time to like pull punches, or like we need to like, here's what's going on, and like, can you do this? Can you not do this? This is what's happening. Is that okay?
Scheduling can be hard, especially around this time of year. It's like it's nuts lately. Every day is like insane. And I feel like a suburban mom right now, because I'm trying to like decorate everything. And I'm not going to lie, before my neighbors, because I don't want anyone to think I copied their decorations. And I'm like, who am I? Like, I'm really trying to get the front porch decorations done first. So like Cindy doesn't think I copied her. Like, I feel insane, but it means a lot to me. And like, I was like, I gotta get this out now. Just an insane person lately.
I've been making decorations for our soiree.
I know. Yeah, we have a party on Saturday. We decided to host like a paranormal party. So, I felt like I had to decorate my house better than I've ever decorated it, which has put an incredible amount of pressure on not just myself, but my husband, who is like, do we really need this much garland? And I'm like, we need more garland. Like, I'm doing it in like trips right now because, to get more. Like, I'm embarrassed at Wegmans with my cart full of garland. Like, this will
be beautiful. You could do nothing to it, and it will be beautiful. But like,
thank you.
So I was saying before we went live that we're trying, because we have so many Instagram spooky friends that we genuinely really like. If I don't like you, I just won't talk to you. Like, I'm not going to start like an Instagram war. I'm a mom. I don't have time for that. But like if I'm active with you, then I like you and I want to meet you and want to be your friend. And so we're thinking this is kind of like see if we can do kind of like a non-celebrity Paracon, thing that maybe it will be like something where all the Instagram peeps who we all talk, like all of us all talk in these, Courtney, and we know Courtney and Russ and, whoever wants to come hang out. Like that would be really cool. And it would be free. Like a regular.
And it's great that, you're like, you've got that friend, group dynamic going. It's awesome.
It really is fun, and I feel really like fortunate that people said yes and they're gonna come all the way out to my house in the woods, because I really live in the middle of nowhere. I can't wait until you guys see my spider tree that I have in the room. So
special spider tree.
It's like
very fancy.
It's like the world found a way to make my tree kind of Halloween-y, where it was like, I know it's Christmas, but you love Halloween, so here's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna put spiders all over the tree.
They're in all the food and they're around the plates.
They're just gonna be everywhere. And I'm gonna pretend like I did it on purpose. I'm gonna be like, do you like it? I worked really hard putting live spiders in that tree.
Yeah, happy Halloween.
Yeah.
how much trouble I took to get this.
Yeah. I had to go out with a jar and collect all
I had
of
to
them.
import these.
Oh my Lord. So have you written anything? Hi Daniel. Have you written anything to submit for volume 3? I just did not get the time, unfortunately. So
no, I feel like we've been so fortunate to be in 1 and 2 that like I didn't even want to try to take anyone's spot. Not that like we would get, you know what I mean? Not to like say that, but I don't want to enter the realm of attempting to nab one of those spots. Like there's too many female and non-binary voices that have better things.
Yeah, and I felt like I said what I could say, what I had to say, and now like we need some years in between that to kind of collect different things to like say and share. But that's the fun thing about doing this, is you're always collecting some interesting stories and theories that are, people want to read it, people want to know about it. And it's funny because you can get, like we said, numb or desensitized to it, but you'll start telling like one of your ghost stories to someone and they're like, oh my God. And you're like, oh yeah, like this is kind of scary, isn't it? Like, don't wet your pants. It's not like, it doesn't get much more spookier than this.
Have you heard Nick Groff's theory, like that Steve talks about? Have you heard like that theory from
think
Steve
so.
and Courtney? Like it will make your brains explode. Like he spoke about it when I had him on, and yeah, my brain felt like it was just going to melt. So Nick Groff came up with this theory that what if like the spirit world, so like the voices that we hear, for instance, disembodied or EVPs, what if that's us but on a different parallel plane or universe or a different dimension? And the reason Nick came up with this and spoke to Steve about it, which Steve is just like absolutely fascinated by this theory, and I can see why. But years and years ago, when Nick was, with, Ghost Adventures, and I think they were at the Washoe Club, right?
Oh yeah.
And Nick was upstairs in, I think it was the ballroom, maybe. And there's an EVP that they capture during that episode, and it comes through and says, I'm Nick Groff, or something like that,
okay,
right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like Nick.
Yeah, I remember that episode.
And it wasn't until years later when Nick was actually at the Washoe Club again, and he was standing in that spot, and it made him think, like, hang on a sec, how trippy would it be if that was actually me, but at a different time? So
it's like deja vu
voice,
too.
Yeah, yes, but like the voices that we hear are us, but
on another plane.
On another freaking plane. It was just like, and when you really start thinking about it, it's just like, and Steve is way better at explaining it than I am.
We had Dave Schrader from the Holzer Files was nice.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he sat down with us a few weeks ago on an Instagram Live. Or I guess that was like months ago at this point. But he was talking, I could listen to him talk about time slips and parallel dimensions all day. Like, ooh. And he's just like, he's like that. He's very eloquent, like just what he has to say about just time and how it overlaps, and it's so non-linear. And like, that's one of Hillary's favorite things too.
Yeah.
I love the time slip conversation. Yeah. But I think that some of the phenomenon all of the phenomenon, they're not always the same thing. So one thing might be like an echo or like a future you or another plane, but another might be something completely different. Like I feel like there's supernatural things that happen, but they don't all have the same explanation. And it's not saying they're not supernatural. It's just that they could be different things that are going on. Like not all sickness has the same, you know, root cause. And I think that it's, you know, it's something that I don't think we'll ever be able to actually quantify or put down on paper and say like, this is exactly what's happening. But I love the theories for it. And then the other phenomenon that happens where it feels like an echo or it feels like another time plane that like overlapped and that's the EVP. But then some EVPs feel so like sentient or they're so like pertinent to your question where like they answer a question directly. And then, you know, it's another conversation of like, did they hear your voice at another time and they're answering it back? Like Dave Schrader had this theory that certain time periods will overlap. So let's say like the year 2000 overlaps with like 1924. So there's a possibility that like they were hearing you and you're hearing them. And that's like, yeah, it's really trippy. And it's just like a fun thing to like talk about and kind of theorize on. And, you know, it takes people investigating to like test it and try it. And I don't think enough people are like, when people investigate, they're not investigating with a working theory, like a, you know, like it's not like a scientist who's trying to, you know, form a theory and have his hypotenuse and or whatever it's called. I'm like, you know, I haven't been in grade school in a while here for this, but you know, they're not testing these theories and trying to, you know, have controls and variables to test them against to prove it. But I wonder if, you know, we did try to do that, what we could come up with if we did have some controls where it's like, you know, this is what we think. So we're going to visit like 12 locations and everything we do is going to be testing this theory. Like, I wonder what we could come up with.
Well, I think that's Brandon Alvis gets so, like Brandon Alvis, I think he gets so, like, obviously frustrated because I think that's what he wants so much, you know, and I think that's what he does. And I think, like, he's just, like, had it. If you ever, like, read one of his posts and you just sort of like, oh, Brandon, I'm sorry, you know, like, you can tell, like, that's what he wants. He wants, like, to test specific theories and, I mean, and like, because we all, like, every group who goes out, I think we all have certain parameters that, like, your team kind of, like, this is what we do, you know, and this is how we feel.
Their own style. Yeah,
like, excuse me, like water energy. That's something that Hillary and I have experienced, like, ourselves, like when it's raining versus when it's not raining, like the kind of, or if we're near a body of water. So it's kind of like a working theory that we roll with, you know, and maybe we would intentionally book something that is near a body of water.
Yeah.
Oh, my battery's going to die.
But that is, you know, like if more people actually, you know, worked together in the paranormal field, you know, because like Jen says all the time, you know, we're all working towards the same goal. We're all, you know, trying to, you know, capture, you know, evidence of, you know, proving that there's something other than us out there. And, you know, whether it's freaking aliens or it's, you know, spirits, whatever it may be. But, you know, there's just the paranormal field is so saturated, and I find that there is just so much ego attached to it that it gets in the way of the actual reasoning of why you're doing it. You know, like it's not about the ego, it's about, you know,
curiosity.
This is what I'm, you know, freaking passionate about. This is what, you know, I want to try and prove and capture and show the world that oh, Mallory's battery's died.
Oh, I think her battery ran out.
Yeah. Because yeah, like no one is better than the other. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
and
no one's an expert. I love these people that go, "Oh, well, he's an expert in this." It's like, how do you quantify an expert? Like,
yeah,
you know, what, have you got a diploma or something? You're like,
yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean,
I respect people who have a lot of like working years doing it, because I think, you know, the experience has a lot to offer, but I think it's like the same in any field though. Like I know with like doctors, you know, nobody wants the new doctor. They all want the doctor with seniority, but the new doctor is the one that just learned all the new techniques and the new like information that came out, and they have the most up-to-date practices, but everybody kind of scorns them because it's like, well, you don't know what you're doing, you don't have the experience. And it's like, no, like everybody has something to offer, whether they've been doing it for 20 years or they just came on the scene and they're fresh. Oh, I'm going low battery now too. That's funny. We're all just gonna drop off like flies.
Hi.
You just went green. You're green.
I'm green?
Yeah, it's like a fiber under a microscope.
Have you got something in front of your camera?
Me?
Yeah.
My phone battery's gonna die. My computer died. My phone battery's gonna die. Should probably just
might be a spider. Might be a spider.
It's probably one of Hillary's spiders.
Just wait, they're gonna be the talk of the party. I'm gonna give them as party gifts. You're gonna get a little mesh bag with a spider in it.
Yeah. You're gonna have to name them for sure.
Maybe you could have
a poinsettia flower.
Spiders down and right across the table.
Does anyone in the chat have any questions before everyone's battery dies? It's interesting, and I really love that, you know, you guys are like, that's your kind of thought process, you know, like with working with those theories. And because I mean, what we just go out and, you know, just do, you know, the normal questions and then kind of follow it from there, you know, wherever it takes us. But I mean, the water theory for sure, like we've had, you know, freaking lightning storms going on and had all sorts going on. And
we get the best results with like water, running water. And you just like, with the way energy is, and I think, you know, you can't really measure it, but you can feel it. And there's definitely something to like the water.
Yeah.
Russ is saying, I'd like to hear you guys compare sensory deprivation experiences.
Oh.
Like as in us against Hillary and Mallory. I'm not sure what he means.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever experienced any kind of sensory deprivation in an investigation where I felt like, you know, I wasn't experiencing a sense that I did before.
I have a really embarrassing story about sensory deprivation and why I will never do it.
Wow, I love it.
I went to when I was a kid, I wore glasses. I mean, I wear contacts now, but I wore glasses and I didn't wear them then. And I went to Liberty Science Center and they had a sensory deprivation like tunnel. And it was totally pitch dark. And there was like a tunnel and it was like literally just as big as you were, and you crawl through and you have to crawl up and over. And I took off my glasses, I gave them to my dad, and I went in and I instantly walked into the control room. That's like how bad my vision was. When I finally got into the tunnel, I could not figure out. There's no sound. You can't hear anyone else around you. And I couldn't figure out where it was. And they had to turn the lights on. And even with the lights on, I couldn't see where the tunnel was. And my brother was laughing his ass off because he was out. And they had me on like this big screen. And they were like, ma'am, please go to the right. I was like crying.
Oh, that's horrible, Mallory. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's
Oh
bad.
no, Rex.
Okay, but if you do it with Hillary, who you love and trust.
Don't trust me for something like that. I'm
Well, I'll
sorry.
do a session with
I'm
you,
not
but
that
I'm not.
good of a person. I will do it for the joke. Like I would leave to watch you struggle on camera. I'm not saying I'm the worst, but like I'm not like sweet like that. I will leave you in there and laugh. I'll come back for you.
I know who I'm
after
in
I
the trenches with. I know my partner. I know what's going on.
Yeah, don't trust me to lead you out of a dark alley. I'm sorry. I wish I could say better of myself, but no.
Oh my gosh.
I really hope that you're not giving my teammates any ideas, Hillary, because I'm the one usually doing the sensory jet. And they're the ones asking questions. But Jen and I will do a double sensory depth session at times, and it's always like fascinating, like hearing the same kind of things coming through from both of us.
Yeah.
And,
Well, we'll do SB sessions, but I think my brain
I'm
definitely
terrible at it.
You're not
Mallory's
terrible.
pretty good, and for the Aaron Burr house, she had some like a pretty kind of like pertinent or relevant answers to questions. But when I have the headphones and nothing. I just everyone has their thing that they're more in tune with, and for whatever reason, that's like not the wavelength or vibration that I'm on, and I just don't do well at it. But we don't abuse it. I don't ask any weird questions yet, but now you gave me that idea, so we'll see in the future. Mallory's gonna be like, no more essays method now with her.
But I love it. It's so much easier, like I find, to hear what's coming through, especially with the SB7. And I've actually had Jen using the Necrophonic app while I'm using the SB7 to see if they correlate. And they did for the most part.
That's incredible.
But, like I'll have, where I'm just, got the SB7 going and I'm not, stuff's coming through, but I can't make it out. But then whenever I'm like, I've got the blindfold and headphones on and that's all I'm focused on, like I hear like, 3 or 4 words, like a full sentence. There you are. Hey. The green fiber is gone. Must be the ghost in your house.
I look normal to me. Anyway, my phone's yelling at me.
Yeah, mine's I only have I'm checking it, 6% battery left. So
yeah, I might have to wrap it up here.
Yeah, let me see if there's any questions. Yes, it would be Adam. Don't get any ideas.
We'll talk later, Adam.
No, you won't. These Adam and Jen have been conspiring against me because I like buggered my knee and then I got cleared by the orthopedic and I'm like, great, let's go and investigate. And they're just like, no. I'm like, Jen, let's go investigate. Jen normally says yes. And I'm like, why do I get the feeling like you guys are having a conversation out of our group chat? Like,
definitely, you're not clear yet with them. They're like, no.
Spirits are often silent on questions of time and age. They don't know what year it is or how old they are. I have noticed the same thing.
That's quite true, isn't it? When we ask.
What about you girls? Like, have you ever asked how old a spirit is or what year it is? Have you ever got a response?
No, I mean, we'll get like related questions. Like in Salem, we got a little bit of like, what do you do? And do you have kids, that kind of stuff. But we've never got like, how old are you? 19. That's never.
Yeah.
We'll ask year, like what year they think it is, but it's never accurate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
So there might be something.
I mean,
in
it could be what year they think it is. Sorry, I have to plug this girl in real quick. I have to save her. Okay. I'm in the kitchen.
Don't investigate with a bum knee.
Yeah.
As long as it's not ground, Daniel, I should be fine. And Daniel, you're meant to be on my side here. Everyone's like ganging up against me. Oh, good Lord. Yeah, no, it's been like absolutely amazing, like talking to you girls and just hearing like your different takes on things. It's good. It's refreshing too, to be honest.
Well, thanks for having us. Sorry.
Yeah, thanks for talking with us on theory. I feel like not everyone likes that conversation, but we're always down for a good like theory talk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, super interesting.
Yeah, I need to, learn more of the metaphysical side of things. But like you just go down a rabbit hole, like when you start getting into all that. But I'm trying to learn more about, the spiritual side of things, and just there's so much to learn. It's just never ending.
And it's interesting, isn't it?
And
because there is so much going on, and different people,
and it's finding the time too. And I find that like when I start working, like I've had the last couple of weeks off, which has been so nice. I think it's the only time I've had off in like 18 months, but now I'm finding it hard to get back into work mode. But when you're going at a constant pace, you're just going through the motions. And it's just, this investigation, this location. All right, let's investigate here. Let's do that. And so, like I found myself just going through the motions and just not with it. Do you know what I mean? So,
it's good to have a pause, see?
Yeah.
It's good to hear no.
Yes. But yeah, like I'm very intrigued by what you girls have said about, going into an investigation with theory in mind. Yeah.
It's something to think about.
It's definitely something we will be talking about now.
Well, thank you again.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us. And I'm sorry I was late on it. I feel like such like a jerk for that, but I'm sorry.
I'm always running late. Everyone knows that.
Yeah. Yep.
But I got ready in half an hour this morning. I was impressed. So
that is impressive.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Everyone in the chat. If you can, girls, like, where can they find you on social media? Is it Blackbeak everywhere?
It's Blackbeak Paranormal on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube.
Yes. And when do you think you'll be releasing another YouTube investigation?
Who knows? We've got holidays with the kiddos first, but we have a big one coming in 2022. So it'll be fun. Yeah.
But everyone go follow them on Instagram. Like Mallory and Hillary both will post, like you do control sessions with like your different equipment, and they do some really like different stuff. So go check them out. Thank you, Dan. Yes, that's their Instagram. Yes, thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll have to catch up soon, and I hope your little Instagram Paracon dinner goes well.
Thank you. We'll post photos.
Please let us know how the spider situation is.
I'm gonna take a spider photo just for you.
Oh my god.
I'll post it. It's just like a web.
All right, thank you. Bye, guys.
Enjoy the rest of your night.
Bye.
Bye. Oh my gosh, that was like Yeah. Oh, I have so much to think about. Far out. Yeah.
Gorgeous ladies.
They are. Yeah. And what made me love them even more is when I left a comment on their YouTube video I posted a couple of weeks back, and Mallory messaged me and she was just like, oh, thank you so much for the comment. But yeah, nothing really happened. It was kind of boring. But that to me was like, oh my gosh, I love you even more now, because putting out an investigation that's not all theatrics, that's not all freaking door slamming, books being thrown, you know, activity off the charts. That's just how it goes.
That's real life, baby.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
And so yeah, even more
genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, if you have not checked out Amanda's book, The Feminine Macabre, Hilary and Mallory have got the story in both volume 1 and 2. So yeah, we're glitchy. All right, guys, thank you. Have a great night. Thank you for being in the chat. I'm sorry if we missed anybody or didn't say hi. Anybody, we get a bit. Yeah, exactly. Like, I have to remember that, there's a chat going on. So, all right, guys, thank you. See ya.
Bye.